Thanks, Clive. You're watching South East Today. Our top story tonight, we need money to stay afloat. A stark warning from South East Water as they look to increase bills. And a sleeping skipper is fined thousands after nodding off and crashing his boat. Hello, welcome to the programme. I'm Ellie Crisell. We're struggling to stay afloat, says South East Water, who say they need to spend £1.9 billion to update infrastructure, and they're looking for a cash injection from investors to secure their future. The stark warning comes ahead of a ruling by the regulator over whether they can bring in increases of 22% to water bills. Oliver Whitfield Miocic reports.
Water everywhere, but profits still hard to come by. The latest financial update from South East Water reveals that while pre-tax losses are down to £36.7 million, it still needs more money from investors or it won't be able to keep afloat. It's the latest public utility to say it needs help. Thames Water says it only has enough reserves for the next 10 months.
This is a real problem that the industry has faced for a long time. Very questionable at Thames Water, very questionable at South East Water, because the directors of these companies have still been getting dividends.
Faced with paying more for their bills, many customers feel that at least some of that money should have been put aside to deal with the pressures South East Water is facing now.
I think it's shocking. I think that they should do more for South East Water than what they are doing. Yeah, it's really bad.
Well, it's going to be ridiculous because we can't afford it. I mean, I've recently been widowed. I'm just struggling. And if it goes up any further, well, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Part of the financial drain the company faces is because older, decaying infrastructure needs repairing. Around £100 million a year is being spent trying to replace pipes to stop leaks. Newly elected Lib Dem MP for Tunbridge Wells, Mike Martin, says the current situation isn't sustainable.
Now they're asking for this money to invest in the network, which is what they should have done previously. And so really the government needs to step in here and instruct Ofwat to ban these increases.
Ofwat is the water regulator. It's still investigating outages last June, which led to thousands of South East Water customers being left with no supplies for more than a week. It could result in a large fine at just the wrong time. In response, South East Water says that negotiations with lenders are at an advanced stage and that it believes in principle the three main shareholders of the parent group will come to the rescue if required. Oliver Whitfield Miocic, BBC South East Today, Snodland.
The skipper of a trawler has been ordered to pay £10,000 after falling asleep and crashing into another boat. This video shows the moment the Margaret Ann trawler collided with a smaller fishing vessel off the coast of Shoreham. Maurice Reid, who's 44 and from Scotland, was in charge of the boat when he fell asleep. He pleaded guilty at Lewis Crown Court to charges under the Merchant Shipping Act, including failing to keep a proper lookout.
It is a hazardous occupation. And incredibly hard working, and whilst there are many dangers to working at sea like any maritime sector, the fishing industry have made massive improvements.
Rising violence, self-harm and drug use are just some of the issues highlighted in a new report on Lewis Prison. The Independent Monitoring Board looks at the treatment of those held in custody, and in its latest assessment of Lewis, it found inmates are being locked in their cells for up to 21 hours a day, while reports of self-harm are up more than a quarter. The report says the increase in violence at Lewis Prison is a significant concern.
We know that there are very high levels of mental health distress amongst prisoners, and that can be reflected, for example, in high level of self-harm. We're concerned about the environment being safe. The prison wants to have a safe environment, but when prisoners are harming themselves, that clearly is an example of the difficult situation they are facing.
A new permit system is being introduced for lorries making the Channel crossing during busy times. Operation Brock sees lorries queue on one side of the M20 to ease congestion for Dover. Now drivers will be issued with a permit at the start of the wait, which will be checked to prove they've taken the correct route during busy times. It's aimed at stopping those who use small country roads in Kent to dodge the queue. A new collaborative cancer treatment project started today for patients in the South East. The Sussex Cancer Research Centre is bringing together experts from medical schools, universities and NHS trusts to share their resources. The team says it's to improve care for those with cancer.
In Sussex, we have incredible research happening all the way from the bench to the bedside, but patients only benefit if we can fully translate everything happening in our labs through to the clinic. And bringing people together, getting them behind this shared vision in this shared centre will really help cancer patients in Sussex.
Brighton and Hove Albion have named the former Australia international Dario Vidosic as the new manager of their women's first team. Vidosic has been in charge of Melbourne City women in Australia's A-League for the past 2 seasons. He takes over from interim Brighton boss Mikey Harris, who oversaw the second half of their WSL campaign with a 9th place finish. Time now for a look at the weather. Here's Nina.
Tonight will stay dry and clear, and through the day tomorrow it's going to be dry with some sunny spells, lighter winds, and it's also going to be feeling warmer as well. Overnight tonight though, with very little cloud, a chillier, fresher night, and temperatures will dip down into single figures. We're starting the day at around about 9 degrees. Although we'll have some bright spells around, a bit of sunshine, there will also be some patchy cloud too. Temperatures not too far off average for the time of year, with the sunshine into the afternoon. We're lifted to around about 21 to 22 degrees. But then as we go in towards Friday's forecast, the cloud is going to thicken. We'll see some outbreaks of rain on and off through the day. The weekend is a mixture of sunshine and showers with temperatures around 20 degrees.
Thank you, Nina. That is it from me and the rest of the late team. Kate Recording, though, is back in the morning from 6:30. Good night.